Good afternoon from the KUOW newsroom. This is Seattle Now. I'm Gustavo Sagrero with today's top stories. It's Monday, May 18th. We'll start with an update to a story we've been following. A Bellevue man has been charged for the killing of UW student Juniper Blessing. Casey Martin reports.
31-year-old Christopher Leahy is facing almost 29 years in prison for allegedly killing Blessing close to campus last week. He's being charged with first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. Blessing was a trans woman. Seattle police say Leahy stabbed her to death in the laundry room of her apartment building. A spokesperson for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office said so far there's no evidence to pursue hate crime charges. Leahy is in jail on a $10 million bail. He wasn't at Monday's hearing. Neither was an attorney representing him, though the judge asked for the attorney twice. Shortly after today's indictment, Blessing's family released a statement thanking police, prosecutors, and the Seattle community for their support. The case now moves to arraignment on Thursday morning when Leahy will respond to the charges. Outside of the King County Jail Courthouse, I'm Casey Martin, KUOW News.
Seattle's LGBTQ Commission has asked the city to take more action about the influx of two LGBTQIA+ people into Seattle. It asked the city to consider declaring a civil emergency earlier today. They cite the high number of transgender and gender nonconforming people who have moved from hostile states since 2024 and the limited resources local organizations have to assist them. The commission says this action would demonstrate the city's welcoming stance towards displaced 2S LGBTQIA+ people and allow it to quickly allocate resources and services to help them. Elected officials in Seattle are setting a timeline to determine the future of the King County Regional Homelessness Authority. That's after an audit last month showed overspending and mismanagement at the agency. Seattle City Council member Dion Foster says by August 1st, the council is seeking a recommendation from Mayor Katie Wilson on whether to dissolve, restructure, or preserve the agency.
We wanted to make sure that we were having the council provided with clear information and recommendations from the executive.
Foster also sits on the Homelessness Authority's governing board. She says she wants to make sure that public funds are being used wisely and that none of the important functions that the homeless agency provides are disrupted during the process. The City Council's timeline mirrors a similar plan from the King County Council. In other homelessness news, Snohomish County's annual point-in-time survey shows a slight drop in it. The county's yearly single-night census in January found 505 people without shelter. That's compared to 536 last year, down almost 6%. The county recently added shelter beds, and the Tulalip tribes opened a new pallet shelter. Officials say the added capacity may have contributed to the decrease. A new justice was sworn into the Washington State Supreme Court today. State government reporter Sarah Mizes-Tan has more.
Governor Bob Ferguson has appointed Theo Angeles to the state's highest court. Angeles is a former intellectual property lawyer and will fill the seat of a retiring justice. Here he is after taking his oath of office.
It is our duty and our obligation to use those characteristics, to use what we have, to use our gifts, to make a genuine difference, to work extremely hard, and always to serve the people of this state.
Angeles replaces Justice Barbara Madsen, who served on the court for over 3 decades. Angeles will be running to keep the seat this November. He's Ferguson's second justice appointee after Colleen Melody last year. A historic 5 Supreme Court seats will be on the ballot this fall. In Olympia, I'm Sarah Mizes-Tan.
In health news, the Washington State Health Department says at least 7 state residents are being monitored in connection to hantavirus, but they say the risk to the public is low. Most of the cases are people who were on an international flight and sat near someone who was on the cruise ship that's at the center of the outbreak. So far, they're all non-symptomatic. In a separate incident, a resident of Chelan County was exposed to a different form of hantavirus. Again, public health officials say the risk to the public is low. For the second consecutive year, the Gifford Pinchot National Forest in southwest Washington is closed to commercial huckleberry picking. And as Northwest Public Broadcasting's Courtney Flatt reports, some Native American tribes are noticing the effects.
Huckleberries are a culturally important food for many Northwest tribes. But for the last few decades, gatherers with the Yakama Nation say commercial harvesters damaged plants and took too many berries. And sometimes tribal members say they felt unsafe picking. So the U.S. Forest Service agreed to temporarily stop commercial harvests in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Elaine Harvey is a gatherer and member of the Route Creek Band of the Yakama Nation.
All these years, there wasn't berries. There'd just be some here and there, and it's like, oh, maybe we'll get half a gallon today. And last year, the bushes were just loaded.
Other area tribes were part of the push to stop commercial harvests. And now, for the second year in a row, Harvey says it's been easier to gather. I'm Courtney Flatt.
And finally, it's been 46 years to the day since Mount St. Helens erupted. The blast happened at 8:32 in the morning of May 18, 1980, and killed 57 people. The U.S. Geological Survey says the eruption traveled more than 300 miles per hour and scorched 230 square miles of forest. It spewed 540 million tons of ash into the sky and quickly triggered deadly and destructive lahars or mudflows. Prior to that 1980 eruption, Mount St. Helens had been dormant for more than 100 years. The U.S. Geological Survey says Mount St. Helens is the most active volcano in the Cascade Range. Next time on Seattle Now, 21 gray whales have washed up on Washington beaches this year.
These consequences can be pretty serious. If you value wildlife, you value the outdoors, then what we're seeing here needs to be a wake-up call to all of us.
We'll talk with a research biologist about why it's happening and the role of climate change Tuesday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers. I'm Gustavo Sagrero. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Hope your week is off to a great start. See ya.